guys, my name is Michael and welcome to a new GTK tutorial. Today we are going to move on and we are going to talk about the last parameter of our GTK of the GSignal Connect function, which is the data which you pass it to your chandler calls. In other words, it is the parameter which you pass it to the GSignal Connect once that you call it, and you need to have it together with the function to get called, if I can call like this. So in other words, I'm going to say something. I'm going to make something interesting for you. I'm going to create a message. I'm going to say const gchar const message, and the message will be at this point, have a nice day, right here, this one. Now I want to be called this function with this message instead of passing null, and by doing this I'm going to do something here inside. I'm going to remove the data cast to void because we are going to use it. So I'm going to say const gchar const message is equal to data. Okay, now I'm going to say let's say if data message is not equal to null, which should never be, then what's happened with my keyboard, then and only then if we have a message we should work with this if statement right here, and if we don't have, should return true, which is very important. Okay, so what we did now, we change our gboolean function that we can work with all these three, and the first function, it is a GTK window, which basically we are using it even if it's nonsense to setting the title of the window, but whatever, just to be there to see that it's working. And we said oh, you know what, I'm going to remove it because we don't need it. We are checking right here. Okay, so we are checking the window, it is a window. Then we are checking if there is an event like this one, in this case the GTK delete event, and if it's there, then we are printing a message, and the message %s will be of course the message. We don't know which the message is because the message it is passed right here, and the message it should be have a nice day. I'm going to compile it and run it, and as you can see there is something because of the flags which are working with my compiler, which is good. The compiler says passing argument 4 of GSignal Connect data discards the const qualifier from pointer target by type. So in other words, it is expecting a void pointer, a g pointer, but the argument type it is a const gchar pointer const. So we need to fix it. In this case we need to cast our message to void one, like I'm doing right now right here. You see I'm casting the message, and now it should work fine. You see, have a nice day, or better I'm going to use g pointer because I needed that it matching this one right here, and now everything works fine. You see, if I'm going to compile it and run it, then everything works fine. Now what do you think? You remember I said that you can GTK window, you can pass the parameter here to your delete event. You can create a parameter as GTK window. You don't really need to create it as GTK widget, just to be sure that you so that you don't need to cast all the time your object to the right type. In this case we have the data void data, which we are casting in right here, implicit conversion to we don't really need to say here char because this happens implicitly. So what will happen if I'm going to remove this one right here, you see, and I'm going to say here const gchar const data, And of course I'm going to remove this one now, and here I'm going to say data. And of course, if we have a data is not null, then work with the data. I'm going to compile it and run it. And as you can see, at this point it says passing the argument 4 of the GTK connect discards the constant qualifier from type, because it is expected a void, but the argument type is a constant char. So as you can see, at this point, even if we did the same thing, we cannot make a trick. Why? Because the data, it is not a void and belongs to no void. It's not the same thing like the GTK window, which is the same like GTK widget, where they implicitly knows that the GTK window is a subclass of GTK widget. So that being said, you need to let it the way it was. I'm going to go a little back like this, G pointer data, and then you put it to your message, and at the end, once that you basically get the message from the data, you can check against null, and then later you can safely print it like we did there. And of course here we need back the G pointer, and the same thing what happens with the window as well. You can just directly pass something, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this one, %s. I'm going to say here char data. You see, I'm going to do something different now from this one right here, and of course the message will be goodbye, cast it to G pointer. Okay, now I'm going to compile it, and as you can see, it says have a nice day and goodbye, because this is basically the thing which you need. You need to decide the way how you pass your last parameter. Once that you know, no matter if you are creating a string for yourself and then you pass it here and casting to the right type, or you just pass a string here casting to the right type. In both cases you have different choices, from putting the data inside a gchar const message and then print it, or you can just print it directly by passing the data which you cast it to char. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, share with your friends and neighbors, and until next time, see you guys.